Welcome to, and it is with great pleasure to announce the Reserves Report. I'm joined by Reserves expert Shaun the Beard Williams. Welcome, mate.
Thank you, Tommy. Good to be here.
It's great to have a new face and fresh blood on the show, mate. It wouldn't exist without, I know you've done a ton of research, and it's great that we can get out to the community now. And Reserves footballers are passionate, and you know that because you're a Reserves coach, right?
Exactly right, yeah. So currently coaching at Lockleys as an assistant coach in the Div 3 Reserves. So very passionate about bringing the younger guys up and obviously coaching a few ex-A graders as well, which is good fun.
You're full of peninsular passion because you're a former Port District star as well.
I am. I wouldn't say a star, but yeah, definitely played a bit of footy down at Port District with the boys, and it was a great time.
Beautifully done. And of course, a bit of Gaelic football alumni as well. We had some fun there. But very entertaining man. I'm sure you fans at home are going to enjoy what Shaun's got to say. We're going to start in Division 7 Reserves today and just having a look at that ladder. Obviously, they're actually already in finals, being that Div 7's a bit behind us. Para Hills 17-0, Mawson Lakes 11-6, Smithies 11-6. What do you take out of the ladder, Shaun?
Looks like Para Hills have been pretty dominant all year, to be completely honest. And then obviously it's going to be a race for that grand final spot between Mawson Lakes, Smithies, and I think O'Sully's are around the mark as well. So
yeah, and look, we have had week 1 of finals, so we better just talk about the fact that Smithies have beaten Mawson Lakes by 9 points and OSB have beaten Flinders Uni by 19. I think it's great as well when you look at the Div 7 results. There's no correlation in Smithies and Mawson, who didn't make the finals, get to play finals in the reserves. How good is that for the club?
So good, and that's exactly what you need to build around the club as well. Once the A's aren't going so well, hopefully the 2s and the 3s are going well, and you can sort of get the club around and get everyone there.
Really good. At Div 7, that's where the real passion is. So hopefully, those boys can keep going and just keep it alive for their club. Let's have a look at some of the goal kickers now. And Frank Sirocco leading the charge from Para Hills, as you'd expect with the 17-0 on 71 goals. And Mickey Lane from Smithies, I've got some notes on him, 58 goals. If you have ever played against Mick Lane, you'd know about it. Big brute of a man. His pre-match ritual, iced coffee and a smoke as he comes out, literally, onto the field. Former reserves medalist, an absolute star. Any of the goal kickers stand out for you, mate?
Michael Lane for 57 for Smithfield. That's a really good effort, and obviously Frankie with his 71. That's just absolutely brilliant. Matty Broadbent with his 43 from Brahma Lodge too.
That's not Matty Broadbent. He's not doing double duty for Henley.
He's not. No, it's the Brahma Lodge Matty Broadbent. He's kicked 43 for the year, so he's done a really good job.
Fantastic. The better players for the year from Flinders Uni, Anthony Cream has been the cream of the crop. He's rise to the top 13 times in the best. Dale Johns from Hacking with 12. And I thought it was Dean Steele, but you've got a bit of mail. It's Dan Steele from Brahma.
Yeah, it's actually Daniel. It's Dean's brother. So obviously Premiership captain Dino, really good fella. And that's his younger brother, Daniel, who's a really handy footballer as well.
Beautifully done, mate. What else? You got anything else for us in Div 7 reserves before we close off?
No, that's about it for me. Just all the best to the finalists, and hopefully there's a really good final series coming up.
It's an exciting time of the year. The very popular Div 6, and the ladder mirrors a little bit of what's happening in the A grade. Salisbury and Eastern Park, the standout teams, mate.
Absolutely. 16-1, 16-2 for the team. So brilliant year for both sides. You've got Ingle Farm just shortly behind with 14-4. Lutherans 12-5 and Rosie's 12-5. So good resurgence from Rosie's to not only get the 2s right up, but be in finals contentions as well.
Yeah, we love that. We love to see a team that isn't playing in the A grade finals and the B grade, and the Reserves Report live vicariously through your reserves as reservists. All right, Beardy, take us through those goal kickers, mate.
Goal kickers, leading goal kicker for the year, Jason Cooper with 60. So brilliant effort from Coobs. 15 games from that as well. So he's missed a bit of footy, but kicked plenty of goals. Jordan Perry-Hag, 58 for Ingle Farm, and Dion Leakers for Ingle Farm as well, 54. So.
And yeah, this is why I've got a note here. Ingle Farm are my smoky in this division because with those two guys kicking 112 between us, big finals, I just think guys like that can stand up.
Absolutely. Really hard to keep control of one leading goal kicker, let alone 2 in the same side. So, they've obviously got a 2-prong attack down there, and it must be really hard to control for the other sides.
Yeah, and 2 very good players, times in the best players. These 2 guys leading, both from Ingle Farm. Jacob McAuliffe Megson and Aidan Burt, both having a big years, along with Jacob Edwards from Rosewater. You got anything else on Div 6, mate?
Looks like it's going to be a pretty tight medal count from what I can tell. Yep. Really even comp. Looks like it's going to be a really hot finish.
Yes. Let's move on to Division 5, where my note on the ladder is that it's really strange. I've not seen this before. All 3 top teams, all on above 75% percentage. Let's take us through it, mate.
Yeah, it must be cream of the crop and unfortunately the bottom of the crop. And you get that in some divisions where, the top teams do really reign supreme and some of the lower sides in that division do struggle a little bit. So looks like, between Marion, Woody South, Colonel Light Gardens, they've gone to work on the lower ranked teams. Mitch and Greenacre is still hanging around as well.
Yeah, interesting to note, Sam Pryor leading the goal kicking, not from one of those teams with 75% on 72 goals. That's a really good year, isn't it? 72 goals.
16 games and 72 goals. That is a ripper effort.
Yeah.
It must be hard to control the big man, so that's really good. So we got Paul McInerney with 48 goals from 11 games for Colonel Light Gardens, which is an outstanding effort as well. And Alex Bradley from Marion with 47 from 11 games. So you can sort of see these guys in the Div 5 reserves, obviously going up, playing a bit of A-grade footy, coming down and kicking a lot of goals as well, Tommy.
Yeah, good club work. As for best players, it's Simons and Foley from West Croydon. They won't be taking any further part in the season, but they've had great years, so well done to them. And from Greenies, it's Luke Pittman, who's had a stellar year. You got any other notes on the better players?
No, that's about it for me.
Yep.
Same thing. Well, guys, just have a really good end of your year, hopefully cracking finals, and may the best team win.
Yeah, I think this is probably the most open one. It looks like any one of these three could definitely entertain winning. And with Woody South going out, again, we talk about it. Your B grades in, get around and support your reservists. They know how to party if they get the chocolates, that's for sure.
Exactly right.
Still talking about my 98 premiership for Walkies. Speak of the devil, Walkerville Cats 11.5 wins, but Plimpton look all the rage, leading the ladder with 14.5.
Yeah, then you get Kilburn 11-5, Kenilworth 8-8, Hectorville 8-8. So one thing I took out of this division, Tommy, coming up from Div 5, Div 4, Div 3 with Lockleys, the oval differences between these clubs. So, Plimpton, you've got the oval with the rectangle. Then you go out to Kenilworth, where we played a lot of Gaelic footy, and it's ginormous. So
it is very, very big.
Yeah. So, big difference in games, and obviously a lot of that comes down to coaching and techniques and how you handle big decks and obviously smaller ovals as well. So, really good coaching by a few of the teams in that division.
Yeah, the big deck of Kenilworth is key, and it's been a key to James Simmering kicking 44 goals. I've got him in the notes as one of the goal-kicking stars.
Hard to keep a hold of some people down at Kenilworth, unfortunately, because once the ball gets forward to centre, it's really hard to get back and help out your defenders. So, 44 goals is a really good effort on that big deck. You've also got Scotty Young and Seb Bryan. So Scotty with 42 and Seb Bryan with 39 for Plimpton. A couple of really good efforts there as well.
Yep, Riley Smith from Morphy's been the best players 11 times, and Braden Haynes from Plimpton 10 times, mate. That's all I've got on Div 4 reserves at this stage. Yeah,
it's going to be a cracking final series, as I said. It's all going to depend on who gets that home final. Plimpton at Plimpton's really hard to play because they've got that rectangle oval. Walkies at home are always going to be difficult. Same with Kilburn. Kilburn are flying. So, a couple of really good games going to come up in the next couple of weeks.
One thing Walker will do well as well, obviously, their A-grade about out. I'm sure those A-boys will be out supporting the mighty reserves. Now, mate, this is where you earn your money. It's Div 3 reserves time. I've got Henley 18-0, Lockleys 15-3. They're 3 games clear here, but again, it's looking similar as it does in the A grade. Take us through a walk through Div 3 reserves, mate. You're the expert.
The juggernaut of Henley. We've had to come up against them a couple of times this year, and they are a force to be reckoned with. 18 and zip. Percentage at 89.54. I think that's probably the best in the comp, and that's probably the Adelaide Footy League.
What was that percentage again, sorry?
89.54. So
talk to me when you're on 90.
So they've had 293 points against them, and the couple of games we've come up against them, it's really hard to score against them.
Yeah, that's
played really well back.
Under 20 points a game on average. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely absurd. So seen it firsthand. The way they move the footy is brilliant, and they're just really well drilled side.
No, I was practicing this all morning. Help me out with this one. Leading the goal kicking on 48 goals from Hope Valley, it's Aaron Massachusetts.
I think you've got that right.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with myself with that.
Done very well.
Yeah.
Cody Eagle for Henley with 40 and Jack Stone with 38 for Henley. Obviously, those guys going in now, the A grade, have obviously affected them kicking as many goals as what they probably would have.
Yeah, 5 Henley guys in the top 11 goal kickers shows they're a real strong team with a great spread. Lee Duggan from the Valleys in there as well. Seeing that name, he was a super footballer, former medalist he was. And tell me a little bit about Adam Faz from Lockleys, 21 goals.
Adam Fazolari gets stuck working most Saturdays, unfortunately, so hasn't played too many games, hasn't trained much, but he's absolutely electric when he's on. Really small half forward, gets up and down the ground, but really good in and under, and can definitely kick us a lot of goals, but just hasn't been available.
No worries. Now, no doubt you do your Oppo analysis as a coach, mate. So tell me a little bit about 12 times in the best players. Josh Stevens from Unley Mercedes Jets.
He's a beast. Hard to keep a hold of. Yeah, so he's a really, really good footballer in and under. We're coming up against him this week, so it's going to be a little bit more homework that goes into them.
Yep.
especially going into a home final against Unley this week. We can see if we can keep on top of him.
Yeah, finals time is exciting. One of the other players I want to mention as well, probably hasn't been the best players a bunch of times, but big fan of the show. Shout out to James Magers from Scotch. What about Matt D'Angelo from CBC? He's been very good this year.
Very good. Probably one of their better players. CBC have been struggling through both grades after coming up from Div 4 last year. But Matty's really held him in good stead and got a lot of best players this year. So good on him. Well done.
And a couple of stars and standouts for you, Mob, I want to mention Simon Arscoley and Shawnee Crow.
Yeah, Shawnee Krause had a great year. He got married in Bali a few weeks ago, and I headed over there as one of the...
Did you go? Oh.
Yeah, it was...
Fancy that. The rich get richer, don't they?
Mid-season footy trip, we called it. It wasn't really a wedding, so...
Is he still doing his pyrodynamics and getting the team fit?
Launch Athletics. He's still out on Grange Road, doing a great job.
Yep.
Simo newly... just had a son, so his little boy would be about 12 months old. In and out of the A grade. His wife is also playing netball, so his availability to play either A grade or B grade is a bit difficult.
Yep.
And he does a great job. The family do a great job, and to allow Simo to play footy, and he's a great asset to have.
Coached his brother, the reptile Davis Scully as well. Great family, good people.
Family,
Yep. All right, mate. Div 3. Now I'm going to put you on the spot here because we're not back again this year. Can Lockleys beat Henley? Can they?
Look, I'm going to say we're 50-50. If we get them on the big dance on a different oval, I think anyone's beatable. That's my opinion.
Yep.
They are a juggernaut.
Yeah.
They're going to be hard to beat, but best team on the day.
And obviously the reserves, it's dictated by what happens in the A grade, so that follows, doesn't it? But it'll become neutral come prelim final day, right?
Correct.
Yep. So, you will hopefully get a crack at them on a neutral oval. Let's look at Division 2 reserves with that team Goodwood. They've been good for a very, very long time in the reserves, 17-1. The Rockabye Babies, 15-3. And Salisbury North, what a huge improvement from their B grade under coach Macca, who played his 400th this year. Well done to Macca. 12.5 wins. That's my look at the ladder. What do you got?
Unbelievable. And you notice that these Div 1 sides coming down, obviously Goody Saints coming down and Rocks coming down a couple of years ago, their reserves are always very strong, and I remember that from my Port Districts days. They've got a very, very good culture and very good, strong reserves competition. So they do well every year, and to be expected, they should be up the top of the ladder.
Yeah, the man about town, Matt Brown, 45 goals from 10 games from Rocks, leads all comers in the goal kicking.
Yep, 10 games as well. It's a really good effort from Matty Brown. 10 goals, 45 goals from 10 games. That's a good return for effort. So one of the other players in that division that's caught my eye, Tommy, was Addison Burns with 30 goals from 11 games. So that's a really good return for effort as well.
Yeah, and it's those names that I recognise from Goodwood. You know, Burns, Caesar, Hughes, and Earl, tried and true premiership footballers. I think that's the reason why I see Goodwood winning the flag in Division 2 reserves.
Yeah, it won't surprise anyone, I don't think. Had a really strong year, and they're just going to continue on in finals, I think.
Yep. Shout out to Ethan Neal, 11 times in the best players. Any other notes on Division 2, mate?
Yeah, Elliot Murder from Rocks has had 10, and Isaac Richards from Flinders Park with 10. So looks like it's going to be a really interesting medal count come the end of the year, because you've got a lot of players with the same best on votes. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting come the end of the year. No
worries. And Division 1 reserves is a little bit unique in a sense that they've still got the final round to go. So it's obviously round 18 this week. So it is Sacred Heart, obviously very strong college team, 13.5 wins. Glenunga, of course, just fell short in the reserves grand final last year in Division 1, 13.5 wins. And Golden Grove have come up, and they've come up with a plum with 12 wins.
Yeah, got a mate of mine that plays out at Golden Grove, Alex Lim, and he's surprisingly, he's in one of the best players for the year. So it doesn't surprise me, Golden Grove, they've got a really strong, I think they've got 4 or 5 grades going.
I think they've got an E grade.
Yeah, they've got an E grade. So really good on them to keep the club really strong, the culture's really strong, and obviously now providing in Div 1 in the Div 1 reserves as well. Yeah,
Joel Horskin, the chief destroyer on the scoreboard with 46 goals for that team, the Kookaburras. Any other goal kickers there for us, mate?
Yeah, Bailey Hume with 32 and Angus Ralph with 29. So a couple of really good returns. Div 1 reserves, really hard comp to score goals in. Yep. You don't really have your 70, 80 leading goal kickers in Div 1 reserves. So that's a really good effort.
Yes, Joe Howard from PAC, 11 times in the best. I've got Jackson Barr from Broadies has done a good job getting in the best 9 times.
And I got my man Alex Lim with 10. So great job from Limmy. He's been in and out of the A grade as well. Really good footballer, coming on the rise.
Yep. It'd be hard for me not to talk about PNU, my old mob, where Liam Sandercock has been one of the better players. And One half of Team Falcon, young Matty Darrington. We used to be a pool tag team when he was just pre-teens, actually. We used to knock off everyone, but he's been sensational this year. Well done to Matty. My favourite Darrington, just putting that out there. Now, it's interesting as well, the Falcons, they actually need to beat Glenunga, the game I'm going to be commentating this weekend, in round 18, and they play finals. So that's a lot on the line for a reserves game. I can't wait to get there and have a look at that one.
Yeah, there's going to be some cracking games for round 18 coming up with the Div 1 reserves. So, yeah, all the best of the teams going forward and get stuck in the finals because it's going to be a ripper.
Yeah, I don't know who to barrack for in that one, mate. I coached both the Payne and B grade and the Glenunga B grade. It's like watching Izzy and Indy have a boxing match. I just don't know where to go, mate. But it's going to be sensational, mate. Now, one of the reasons we're doing this as well is we want everyone to be well aware that the Division 1 Grand Final will be broadcast, streamed and commentated this year. It's obviously the crown jewel of the reserves report, so make sure you check that out. Beard, you have been unbelievable. I've loved having you on the show. Thank you for your insight, mate. Any final words?
No, just one big one for me was Andy Graham yesterday for Kilburn with his
Shrek.
350th. Brilliant effort from Big Shrek. Absolutely love him. Ripper bloke and 350 at Kilburn, one club player. And that's exactly what we love to see from the Div 4 reserves. And the reserves in general, just one club players really sticking it through. He's played a lot of A-grade footy and now coming down to help the younger guys in the reserves.
And Kilburn are the beneficiaries of this, having their best year in the reserves in a long, long time. Thanks very much. This has been our pilot episode of the Reserves Report. We hope you've enjoyed it. We'll continue to work very hard and hopefully be back in 2025. Thanks for joining us.